Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. And it is Sunday morning, and all of our Premier League dearly departed played yesterday, so we can get in there and get our round 6 Premier League review done. Mixed again, I suppose. Watford somewhere in the middle. Bit depressing at Leeds, quite depressing at Norwich, and Brentford and Villa fans will be very, very happy. So, bit of a mixed bag again for our dearly departed teams. Remember, these are the teams that we have covered down in the Championship, who have been clever enough to get up into the Premier League. And this is our weekly review. Thank you as ever to Jay, who is our fan sponsor for these dearly departed shows. Dearly departed, also known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. I bigged him up the last couple of shows. Jay has sponsored us for the longest time on this show, but change of work circumstances for him, he's going to have to stop. So if you do want to get involved, if you are a Leeds, Villa, Brentford, Watford, Norwich fan, you want to get involved on these shows, you can do. Hit me up on Patreon. Anyway, let's get into this. As ever, we're going to look at each of our 5 teams. We're going to go from highest ranked down to lowest. We're going to look at yesterday's match action, and replacing Brentford as our highest ranked team, and they did have a ding-dong battle with Leeds last season, is Aston Villa. And you have to say, take a bow, Aston Villa, who won at Old Trafford yesterday. 10 points in 5, back-to-back wins, and Villa looking very, very happy. It was the 12:30 kickoff. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 1. There is your Villa team, and this 3 at the back seems to be working, doesn't it? They made the switch in the Chelsea game, and everyone was sort of saying, oh, could they have got something out of that game? 3-0 to Chelsea in the end. So it was one of those that you kind of thought was a reasonable argument, but then you're like, oh, I'm arguing against a 3-0 defeat here. Maybe we were right, though, because it has flitted and gone in Villa's favour, particularly these past couple of games with the back-to-back wins. And what a result yesterday to tack on to the 3-0 win against Everton. 6 points, 4 goals, none conceded in the last 2. And as I say, 10 points from 5. For Villa, Martinez in goal. Konza, House, Mings is the back 3. Cash and Target, the wing-backs. McGinn, Ramsey, Louise, and Watkins and Ings up top for Villa. Bailey is out for a while. Buendia not in the starting lineup. They're working this quite nicely, Villa. The squad has been built, and little tweak to the system, that looks good. That bodes well when, last season was built on a different system, and just changing it up and moving on is what you always want to see at your club. Star-studded Manchester United team, but they can't get past our dearly departed boys. De Gea in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Shaw, Fred, McTominay, Pogba, Fernandes, Greenwood, Ronaldo. Star power-wise, you would think Villa ain't winning this game, but maybe pattern of play and team over stars, well, they did. And they could have had another couple of goals. I know we skew towards our dearly departed team and mainly put their chances up, but a couple of real good ones. I mean, this would have been a howler from De Gea, who Maguire plays the back pass, and De Gea pretty much sends it straight over to Watkins. Touch. Can he find the corner? No, he can't. That all happens very quickly. Touch, hit, and the keeper makes the save. And then look at that. We're talking about Cash and Target not being fullbacks anymore and being wingbacks. That's Cash on the deck. He's fired that across. I mean, fair dues to Wan-Bissaka for getting some off-putting challenge in, but comes quickly at Target. And, it's an incriminating still. He sticks it over the crossbar there. Again, at full speed, it looks trickier. But still, big chance for Villa there. And here is the winning goal, although it's not maybe the decisive moment in the match, you would say, in the 88th minute. And it's Douglas Luiz who puts the corner in. You can see Howe's on the near post. Just gets in front. It's a good header, actually, from that angle. Really pacey corner. And when you do get those corners into the near post, lots of fans don't particularly understand this, I don't think. They get very cross when corners are headed away at the near post. Any professional footballer can float a corner into the middle of the box or the back post, and it'll be very hard for their attacker to score. A lot of corners are attempted, whipped into the near post. Yes, a lot of them are headed away, but when you do then make that first contact, very, very hard to stop. And on the basis not many goals are actually scored direct from the first contact at corners, it's a great delivery, flicked header at the near post. De Gea, I don't know whether any of those Manchester United players, can see Pogba there, have come off the near post or were meant to be on there, but that's the gap and that's where it goes in. However, that is not the end of things. And I tweeted after Manchester United kind of won that game at West Ham last week, they were looking like the Manchester United of the 90s, just never losing and always kind of just pulling it out late in the game. And I thought they were going to do it again yesterday. There is a handball by the goal scorer, Courtney House, and I do think he's probably fairly banged to rights. I'm sure Villa fans were very upset with it at the time, before they knew the penalty was going to pretty much go into the top tier of I think it was Stretford end, isn't it, at Manchester United. But look, I think Cavani, you can see in the picture there next to Mings, goes to flick the header and doesn't get much on it, which surprises Howes. I think he's expecting the ball to change trajectory. Look, that deep into the box, I think you can probably call that arm in unnatural position away from body. I think Pogba's reaction says it all behind him. Huge appeal from him. I think it probably is a penalty, as much as people like to have narratives against Manchester United getting lots of penalties. But fortunately for Villa and the dearly departed, I mean, it's a hopeless penalty. And we always say good players make good shapes. Bruno Fernandes is definitely a good player, but you can even tell from the still, the technique is just off there, isn't it? And he's skying that one, and it goes miles over. It's a dreadful penalty by Fernandes. I guess he's trying to get Martinez to commit to one of the corners like he's going to hit it hard and then just lift it into the roof of the net. But, Chris Waddle would have been looking at that one, although Waddles wasn't quite down the middle and, feeling similar right up into the stand. And Villa survived the 93rd minute penalty from Fernandes. Didn't even hit the target with it, and get a fantastic win there at Old Trafford. Now, I sent a few tweets about this getting up this morning. Yes, Manchester United had 28 shots. Only 4-3 on target. And look, in terms of the XG, we know the penalty is a huge part of that. And in very, very simple terms, we're looking for big blobs for chances created. And other than the penalty that Manchester United had, not really. And I think set plays as well. I forget who tweeted it this morning, but a fairly good source saying basically, not a lot really from open play. And you look at the big chance count, 2 to Manchester United and 3 to Aston Villa. Look, it's one of those where dig into the stats, whatever you like. Villa scored a goal from a set play late on, had a couple of other good chances, and Manchester United missed a late penalty. Game state kind of makes it like a 5-minute game at the end of the match. And let's be fair, Manchester United didn't take the huge chance they had. Villa took the reasonably decent chance they had, and they get the win in a 5-minute game at the end. So well done, Villa. Superb win. Change to 3 at the back. We're going to look at the tables later on, but Villa are up in 8th. They're not conceding too many goals of late. Obviously, the 3 against Chelsea was a big one. And it looks very, very promising. And again, Buendia, Bailey's injured, obviously. Tuanzebe sort of not starting. It feels like they've developed a new strategy, built out the squad a little bit, maybe Mings and Konza are enjoying the extra assurance from what extra centre back in what was already a good squad. That's the point, actually. How's the goal scorer probably wouldn't have even played if I assume Tuan Zabi was exempt because he's loaned from Manchester United. So there you go, happenstance and all that. Get your comments in on a fab win for Aston Villa. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 1. And on we go to a thrilling game. Brentford 3, Liverpool 3. And Brentford are doing that thing that promoted teams sometimes do, where they come up and, particularly in the early months, they're just the darlings of the division. They're a new team. They're not only a new team this season, but a new team to the Premier League. Never been here before. And new stadium, and there's just a real good buzz about Brentford, and drawing 3-3 against recent Premier League champions and league leaders Liverpool won't do the loving for Brentford any harm at all. Obviously, those people who've been covering the Championship, like myself, who have had Brentford on their radar for 5 or 6 years before this, but we know, but it's good to see them getting the wider audience now. The Bees, and that is your Bees team. Raya, Aya, Janssen, Pinnock across the back, Henry and Canos, Onyeka, Norgard, Janel, Tony and Mbeumo up top. And we've mentioned this a few times. The new centre-back into that system obviously went to 3 late last season, but strong, powerful at the back. Canos has done a great job converting to a wing-back. And again, in that central midfield, you can argue that there's no sort of number 10 in there. There's barely a number 8, really. You'd say those players were Josh De Silva and Jensen, traditionally for Brentford. Just strong, sturdy. All of those 6 players, the back 3 and the 3 midfielders. And this is a different approach than, especially when we're going to talk about Norwich at the end. Just sturdy, and then managed to get 2 strikers on the pitch. Tony, I suppose, Mbeumo's a converted winger, isn't he? But modern inside forward. You know what I'm saying. But they're playing this very, very well, Brentford. And like we said before, the lovely, flowy, but sometimes flaky football. The good passing is still there. But they look sturdy, don't they, Brentford? And a lot of character to come from behind a couple of times in this game against this Liverpool team. Alisson, Trent and Robertson, the fullbacks, Matip and Van Dijk, Henderson, Fabinho, Jones, Salah, Mane, Jota. Again, look at what Villa and Brentford have come up against, and the sheer absolute star power. And 4 points from these 2 dearly departed teams. They did us proud, these 2, this weekend, didn't they? There is the opening goal, and Brentford actually take the lead in this one. Happy, happy days. Ethan Pinnock, always a threat from set plays. Nice little flick. You can see Ivan Toney, he's just got a little back heel on that to change the trajectory. And Pinnock sticks into the back post. I remember doing Brentford watch-alongs, and we always used to just sound the set plays, watch out for Pinnock, because he'd often just be completely on his own, way away from the rest of the hubbub. And often the ball would go directly to him and he'd be in a one-on-one situation. Not the case here, but Pinnock finishes this one off. And well played Brentford, who take the lead there in the 27th minute. Here comes the equaliser, though. Great cross from England's Jordan Henderson. You can see him on the right there. Just floats that in. And I suppose with your Brentford hat on, you would say, can someone cover Jota? But sometimes there's a point where you say, good cross, good movement. It's a really good header as well. Climbs and just glances it in the corner. Raya is not saving that. So maybe you just tip the cap and you say, bit of quality. Especially knowing that Brentford are ultimately going to get a point from the game. We can say that with no saltiness whatsoever with our dearly departed hats on. And there's probably a few Brentford fans in the stadium a bit salty about this one because it did look offside, but VAR is going to allow this goal. It's clipped over the top for Mo Salah by Fabinho. Salah, as ever, he's lethal, isn't he? Touch, finish. I believe that's an anniversary goal. It's like 100 100 Premier League goals, I think, for Liverpool. I don't need to sit and tell you how good Mo Salah is. That's not the purpose of the Dearly Departed series. But he does it again. There's our VAR. And, excuse me, I guess it's Canos if they're in a kind of back five behind the goal. And he's played onside just by with shirt sleeves and knees and things of that nature. But look, we've made it binary, we've made it black and white, and Salah is onside and makes it 2-1 to Liverpool. Here is the equalising goal. That is Vitaly Janelt. Reminded me a bit of the goal, you can see him in the background there. It was Norgard, wasn't it, against Arsenal, the second goal, where second ball in a set play and it's bouncing about. And you have to give Janelt credit because, look, I suppose Van Dijk's maybe coming from a bit further away, but very physical Liverpool centre-backs, and he gets the climb on. And look, it's hardly a Tim Cahill, Jurgen Klinsmann power header, but just get up there, get the contact, and given the keeper's out of the game, Alisson, in it drops into the corner. Well played, Janelt, 2-2. But here come Liverpool again and take the lead again on 67 minutes. Curtis Jones slipped in by Robertson, and I think that's Aya on the right-hand corner of the penalty box. Jones drives it through. It's a strong enough hit. However, I'd be interested in your thoughts. I think Raya probably saved this. Were it not for the deflection, he's trying to stop it. Jones hits it hard, hits it early, and just changes direction at the last and flies in. 3-2 Liverpool. But here they come again, and little bit scrambly from Yohan Wissa. It's a very nice finish, actually. Just as enough composure to just clip that over the top of the keeper. Look at those behind the goal. There's one guy already celebrating, a few guys holding their heads as well. But in the end, it is kind of scrambled and clipped in by Wissa. And it is 3-3. Well done, Brentford. Lots and lots of character. Did they deserve it? What do the numbers say? The numbers say, yes, they did. Pretty tight game. Look, now I do understand when we're dealing with XG. Sorry, I've got Aston Villa 3, Everton 0 up there. Obviously, that should say Brentford 3, Liverpool 3. Ignore that in the left-hand corner. Look, sometimes with the blobs on the shot maps, if you get goals where it's one chance, deflects back, and then another one, sometimes it skews it a little bit, but still, Brentford created 3.02 XG against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, and 5 big chances apiece. One hit woodwork. Okay, you can argue 11 corners to 2 in Liverpool's favour and 67-33 on the possession. Maybe that's some numbers that skew in their favour, but a thriller of a game. And I think the more important point, rather than looking at any specific numbers in isolation to this game, is Brentford are competitive with Liverpool. And again, I don't want to pile in on any of our other dearly departed teams, but certain other ones of them have not been competitive against the top teams. And Brentford, again, will look at the table up in 9th place. They've only lost 1 game. They've got 2 victories as well. And they just look like they're having a really good bash at this already. 9 points from the first 6 games. And we always look at it point per game, and sometimes it's less, 35 to 38, 39 points, and you're probably looking all right. And Brentford are projecting that. Look, they're doing brilliantly. Of course, there'll be a run where they get 0 points or 1 point from 4, 5 or 6 games. But what they're doing now with this great start to the season is they're mitigating the possibility of that run really being lethal and defining their season. And also, they're just building the expectation. And teams cannot take Brentford lightly. Not even league leaders and undefeated Liverpool. And Brentford become only the second team to stop Liverpool winning this season. Now, get your thoughts in on a thoroughly encouraging and thrilling I was driving to a job, so I only caught a little bit of on the radio. But from what I hear, a thrilling draw. Brentford 3, Liverpool 3. Thoughts in the comments. Right, we said it's a mixed bag. It's always a mixed bag with the dearly departed. So we're now going to go on to Watford, who are in the middle of the mixed bag. Things are looking okay at Watford. However, we said they might have had this one circled on the calendar as a possible winner against a direct opponent. Watford won, Newcastle won. So look, I'm perfectly happy with Watford and 4 points in the last 2 games. And probably if you said to Watford, you're going to get 4 points from Norwich and Newcastle. Yeah, that's great. And probably also if you said, which one do you want to beat and which one do you want to draw? I don't know, would they have flipped it the other way around given that they're fairly far ahead of Norwich? I just feel I don't want us to look back at this one and say, because we did say it last season with the likes of Newcastle and Brighton and Burnley and Southampton, that the teams who had been promoted just couldn't beat them, and they did ended up taking points from these games. And it's a home game against what we hope will be a direct rival for Watford. Anyway, big picture, all is well with Watford, and 7 points from 6 and 2 wins already. Decent. I just feel they would have had this one circled. They do get a point though, and this is the team that secures it. Foster, Firmino, Ekong, Cathcart, Rose, Sissoko, Kutska, Dennis, Cleverley, Sarr and King. For Newcastle, Darlow, Manquillo, Ritchie, Fernandez, Clark, Hayden, Almiron, Joe Linton, Willock, Longstaff, Saint Maximin. Newcastle, by the way, in 17th. They are without a victory. And they thought they may have been on their way to one here. This is Sean Longstaff. Good finish, this one. I think they take the set play short, don't they? And it's knocked off to him by St Maximin, who you can see there. You just see his headband there still. And drilled in by Longstaff into the far corner. Fun and games, though, in the remainder of the game. Look at that. I think it's Longstaff again, isn't it? Could have had his second. Comes at him quickly, but we know from that picture, anything on target, and he scores there with Foster off on safari in no man's land there. But it wasn't like Watford didn't have chances. There's another one for Murphy. Is it? I can't quite tell. Blurry picture there. Or is it Willock? Pass. Blurry stills here. Anyway, in on the right-hand side of the box, those Newcastle fans expecting behind the goal. He cannot convert. But look, now, here come Watford. And here's the equaliser for Ismaila Sarr. I think King gets something on it. And this is very good from Sarr, just running round the back, arriving. And look, we imagine him as a dribbler and a crosser and a flair player. But can you do the basics? Can you get up and header that on target? Yes, he can. It's a good header, actually, by Sarr, who's a player we outlined where we think if Watford are going to do well, and again, without being patronising, Watford doing well is 17th and above, isn't it? Sarr needs to have a good season, and it looks like he is contributing and having a good season. So that bodes well again for Watford. We thought, we did this on the Super Stream yesterday, that Josh King in the 87th minute had won it. And it's one of those where, look, pick your poison there. Looks like there's 3 players offside on the VAR there. Obviously, 2 of them are irrelevant if they don't touch the ball, but unfortunately, King is one of them. In the stadium, they thought they'd done it. I was very happy on the Super Stream, possibly celebrating a Watford win there with my dearly departed hat on, but no, the goal was chalked off for the Hornets. There you go, beg your pardon. I think it was Willock earlier. I knew there was one for Murphy who comes on as a sub, and look at that for a chance. Late on, he cannot convert it. So, with all of that being said, and given that they won last week, I'm sure Watford will be happy enough, despite my big picture assertion that, just don't lose this game. But I think they will have circled this one for a possible win. Watford, given Newcastle's struggles. There are the numbers, 52-48 in Watford's favour, 20 shots to 15 in Newcastle's favour. Fairly tight there, 6-4 on target, the shots, and 6-5 for corners, both in Newcastle's favour. 3 big chances to 1 for Newcastle. So look, I very much view this from a Watford point of view, but if you were viewing it from a Newcastle point of view, you'd look at it and say, okay, 3 big chances to 1 and that breakaway, and maybe the other Longstaff chance. Maybe they'll look at it as a chance missed in terms of a win. And there's 2 sides to every story. But our story here, with our dearly departed hats on, I think is a positive one. Again, we're looking at a point per game. And Watford, yes, they do have 3 defeats so far, but they have 7 points from 6 games, which has to be a big thumbs up. And again, I hope they can pick up points elsewhere and they don't look back, given that we do think Newcastle will probably be somewhere around that bottom 6 or that relegation. I hope they don't look back if Newcastle then win the return game and look at this as, that could have been a decisive. Could we have beaten Newcastle? Anyway, let me stop fixating on that and say Watford have got 4 points from 2 games. They're not losing to direct rivals. There may be some defeats ahead, but they're currently 11th in the table, which you have to give a big thumbs up to. Get your thoughts on that. The kind of current moment versus the big picture, and picking out these, which I'm, maybe falling over myself doing here, picking out these battles against teams that you probably are looking at as direct rivals. Anyway, I think all is well at Watford. So we'll give them a thumbs up, and you give me your thoughts. Watford 1, Newcastle 1. Okay, here is probably the concerning part of this show, because we have 2 teams in the bottom 3. One of them we probably wouldn't have expected to be in the bottom 3, and that is Leeds United, who are still on game number 6 now without a victory. Now, first thing we need to say is that West Ham are good. They are, they're very good, in fact. They're up in 7th and they finished in 6th position last season. The second thing we do need to say is Leeds have played some difficult games thus far, particularly the likes of Liverpool, Manchester United and West Ham here, who were all top 6 teams last season. However, to try and balance it out, there is a worry here that they have also played Newcastle and Burnley, Everton to a lesser extent, and not got that win yet. Now, of course, nobody will be panicking at Leeds because in Bielsa they trust, and kind of rightly so. But I suppose other than that, that collapse back in 18-19, this is probably the biggest challenge now for Bielsa, because they've basically been winning the rest of the time. And I don't know, someone will tell me, is 6 games the longest run without a win for Bielsa? If it's not, it's probably very, very close to it. Anyway, let's get into the game here. So, Leeds, and yes, here comes some mitigating factors. Meslier in goal. Look at the back 4. Yes, Firpo and Cooper are first teams, but Cresswell and Shackleton coming in. And remember, those West Ham front 4 are savvy, aren't they? So, look, maybe. I'm not here to be a Leeds apologist. I'm here to just give balance, okay? Phillips, Dallas and Click, that's strong. Rafinha and James, that's strong. No Bamford, but Rodrigo still strong. I was having a discussion with some Leeds fans the other day. But what is Rodrigo? Is he 9? A 10? A 9.5? An 8? We kind of still don't know, but he's going to play up top in this one, Rodrigo. But still, look, no Llorente, no Koch, no Stroick, no Bamford. And then in terms of fullbacks, we always see Ailing in there as well. So injury problems, again, there's being an apologist and there's stating the facts that Leeds were without a fair few first-team players. Have I covered both sides of that? I think I have. For West Ham, who have a lot of admirers the way they've gone about this. Fabianski, Soufal, Zuma, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Soucek, Rice, Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, Antonio. It's just a lot of quality now with West Ham. There's The double pivot's very good. Bowen and Benrahma have been the cream of the Championship coming up from the past few seasons and signed in at West Ham. And Antonio's just very, very good. And unfortunately, with our dearly departed hat on, Leeds are going to find that out. Good save by Meslier earlier on in the first half. Read into it what you like. I think it's a good thing. Is it ever a good thing if your keeper has a good game? Of course, it's a good thing, but you don't want to be relying on it. It's Benrahma who's hit that shot 22 from the edge of the box, bending that in. Good save, Meslier. And then Leeds take the lead with a very good goal, a very Bielsa goal, quick transition, cut back into Click. And I mean, that's just a brilliant finish, isn't it, by Raphinha? Because you'd think, can you give the keeper the eyes and stick it to his left looking at that gap? But no, Raphinha has just got his head down. He knows that finish. He knows he's good enough first time to stick that right in the corner to Fabianski's right. And even though it's the smaller gap, he finds it. And look, 6 without a win, but there is real quality at Leeds, especially with the likes of Phillips and Raphinha. And Raphinha, excellent goal there to give Leeds the lead. Unfortunately, it's not going to get them the win in this one. They do hit the post though here. I think it's Raphinha again. Yeah, 10 from the edge of the box, bends that with the left foot. Is Fabianski saving this? I don't know. You tell me. Off the foot of the post and bounces out once again. Unlucky. Could have gone 2-0. Could have gone 1-1 though as well. That's a good save from Meslier, who is just a good keeper, isn't he? Fornals running off the back of Calvin Phillips there. And fortunately for Leeds, the 1-on-1 is saved. However, they do have the ball in the net here, West Ham. We're into the second half now. Antonio, you can see, I think we can reasonably say that arm probably shouldn't be there from Antonio as Meslier is trying to challenge. And there was a bit of a swing inwards as well. It's not like he's just jumped like that. So probably rightfully chalked off there. You can see sent over to the screen. I think he makes the right call there, referee friend. But West Ham are strong, aren't they? And here they come. Not before though. I forgot about this. God. Click. Oh. And again, talk about give the keeper the eye, stick it in the far corner. Look, it's easy for me to say with hindsight. But you know if you dummy that shot to the right-hand side there, Click, you know the defender's going to step that way. You know the keeper is roll it in the other corner. And he just puts it wide of the post. And it's Rodrigo in there, sort of jumps over it to not interfere with play. Did have chances to go 2-0 up, didn't they, Leeds? Frustrating. Right, and here we go. And how annoying is this goal? Bowen, 20, comes inside. And I think it's a double deflection here. I think Cooper gets something on it. Whether it's or where it's going, you tell me. But then that deflects towards Firpo, and he can't really do a hell of a lot about it. It just hits his sort of left-hand side, maybe the thigh, maybe the torso, bit of both. And the sheer speed of it, pinball, bang, bang, into the goal. And especially given Raphinha hitting the post and Click having that chance, Leeds fans will be very annoyed at the nature of what will go down as an own goal. But look, pinball and wrong place, wrong time there. Firpo, in it goes. And then, late in the game, 90th minute, Declan Rice, it's very good. You can see him 41. But I have to say, and I don't ever want to pile in on players, Shackleton totally overcommits. It's good from Antonio. It's good from Rice. We're in two things can be true category here. We give Rice and Antonio credit for a good attacking play. But Shackleton has got to jockey him. Because if you dive in there and you don't win the ball, you're either going to get red carded and it's not a reasonable position to say, look, foul him 90th minute and save the point and, I don't know, maybe not 3-match ban. for Shackleton if he does foul him. But if you do dive in like that, you cannot get skinned in the way that Shackleton gets skinned coming across on the cover. Antonio, clever. Look, he's very good, Antonio. Knocks it round the other side and finishes off. But how frustrating is that for Leeds? Yes, it's the difference between 0 points and 1 point. I know we always look at them and say they're far worse when it's the difference between 3 and 1. But hey, you're still getting a point in that instance. But yes, Leeds without a victory, and they succumb to defeat here. Typical Moyes stats, aren't they? Lower on the possession, but still they make chances, don't they? 7 on target to 5 in West Ham's favour. 2 big chances to 1. And yes, it was a bit of a muggy goal, the deflected one off Firpo. But they do tend to, when they do make chances on transition, they do then have quality, don't they? And I'm talking about Ben Rama, Bowen and Antonio. They do tend to take them, don't they? And that's the setup for West Ham. So look, I don't think it's any surprise for me to say that West Ham are good. But let's focus on Leeds. And yeah, it is a concerning start, isn't it? With the mitigating, there's 2 mitigating factors, which aren't 100% of the story, of course, for Leeds. They are that Leeds had injuries yesterday and they took the lead and they lost out late on to a good team, obviously. And the other mitigating factor across the big picture is that they have played Manchester United, Liverpool, West Ham, all top 6 teams. Now, Leeds coming up have Watford at home in a dearly departed derby. They have Southampton away. Then they have Wolves. Then they have Norwich. So, if I were a worried Leeds fan, and it's fine to be worried. No one's saying that being worried means that you're going off the edge of the cliff or you want the manager out or whatever. It's okay to be worried after not winning for 6 games. Look, but you would look at the next 4 and expect maybe 1 or 2 victories in those 4, maybe a draw, maybe 6, 7 points, maybe 9, and then things are going to be okay. Anything between 6 and 9, given Leeds' slow start, is going to be fine from those 4 games. And we know they've got the capability to score points frequently for the rest of the season if they can just get themselves going. So that would be my take on Leeds at the moment. Don't panic. I don't think anybody will. Fixtures will hopefully open out. And look, if we're sat here at game 10 and Leeds have played Watford, Southampton and Wolves and Norwich, and they've only got 2 points from those games, then we'll be worried if they're 10 without a win. Very worried. I'm just said it's no crime to be worried. But yes, the longer it builds, the more icky people will get. But look at those next 4 games is all I would say about Leeds. Get your thoughts in Leeds 1, West Ham 2. And finally, and these fans have every right to be very worried, is Norwich, because it was Everton 2, Norwich 0, and yes, Norwich are just rock bottom with 0 points and 6 defeats, and their fans are losing patience. And as much as I always try, for as long as I can, to go, give it time, give the manager a chance. I always try and do that because often, getting shot of the manager is the last resort. It should be the final part of the conversation. I cannot sit here and say that the Norwich fans I'm seeing on my Twitter feed saying, oh, maybe they should make a change now. I can't say they're being unreasonable on the basis that their manager has been amazing at Championship level with 2 promotions and frankly terrible at Premier League level, where they finished abject bottom, okay, COVID, empty stadiums, whatever. Same for everybody, wasn't it? And now they're back up. They've made some signings. They have sold their best player. Shouldn't forget that Buendia is no longer there. But there's selling your best player and struggling, And then there's retooling, seemingly having a bit of a go at it, and changing the system and losing your first 6 games. And again, like Leeds, okay, Norwich have had difficult games, haven't they? They had that horrible start where they played Liverpool and then they played Manchester City and then they played Leicester. But that's all gone now, and it's the other games you look at and 0 points from all of them, and then you start to really, really worry about sort of mental fragility and psychology and just players ending up being beat before they've even stepped out on the pitch, which is the big concern that could possibly happen if this runs and runs now. There's the team Norwich put out, and honestly it makes sense on paper what they're trying to do. We've just given Brentford a load of credit for shoring things up, going 3 at the back, getting a bit more physicality in midfield and getting 2 up top. Norwich have done exactly the same thing now. It's just a case of will it work going forward. Krill in goal, Kabak, Hanley, Gibson, Williams and Aarons are wing-backs, Lees-Melu, Norman and McLean in midfield, Sargent and Pookie up top. So I'll repeat myself. It makes sense to get more power in. That was a criticism of Norwich before. A bit more assurance in central midfield. You know, they were teams were just running through the likes of Gilmore in those first couple of games, weren't they? And again, he's got Pookie some help up top, but yes, at the moment, it's just not working. And I understand if anyone comments, yeah, Ben, makes a load of sense on paper, but we got 0 points. I get it, okay. Everton, Pickford in goal, former Norwich player there, Godfrey, Mina, Keane, Dinya, Iwobi, Alan, Decore, Townsend, Gray, and Rondon. And yes, again, we should mention, look, Everton are a very big club who have spent a lot of money and been in the Premier League for forever. So that needs to be factored, and Norwich are playing away at them. But we're talking big picture now, and this is rumbling for the Norwich fans, just in terms of their apathy maybe towards management. This is poor from Kabak, isn't it? Just a very, very loose, clumsy challenge on Alan in the midfield. In the penalty box, midfielder running in there. Referee, who was it yesterday? Referee Coote is sent over to the screen. Look, I'm sure we'll get some Norwich fans argue, Ben, is the contact proportionate to bring down Alan? Does he go down easily? No, the contact's not proportionate to bring him down. Does he go down easily? Yes. But we all know that that's not the standard that penalties are judged by. Penalties are judged by if you make a clumsy challenge that may or may not impede someone in the penalty box. You know you're going to have to, especially with VAR. They're just going to go and make him have a look, run it in slow-mo, and you'll see Kabak swing in like a golf club his foot through, and, you know, with the ball nowhere near it. You know it's going to be a penalty. What I'd love to see is when players do go down easily, the referee go, Bob, penalty, yellow card for you. You didn't need to go down that easily. I can do my job here. That's what I'd love to see, but yeah. That may be a while, mightn't it? Or it might be good for the referee to go and look at the screen and then say, look, you've gone down very, very easily. Long and the short of it, it's a penalty, isn't it? I don't think there's too much truck with that. Andros Townsend again. And this is a player that Norwich were linked with, weren't they, when he was out of contract, and touched the penalty home, obviously. But this is what we talked about a lot in terms of Norwich recruitment. It's all well and good if you can pull out a Buendia or a Pookie or a Krill. I know Krill didn't come out of nowhere, but Buendia and Pookie did. But there's a time, especially with Premier League, where stick a bloody Andros Townsend in there who just knows the league and has played hundreds of games, and off he goes to Everton and he's performing very, very well. And here is the second. It's Decore slipped in here in the 77th minute by Damari Gray, who's been a very good signing as well, and he just sticks it home with the right foot. I think they just win it back in midfield. I did speak to a couple of Norwich fans during the Super Stream yesterday saying, they built up some steam in the second half. The attack momentum graph I'm seeing does intimate that. However, we'll look at big chance counts and shots on target. And I didn't watch 90 minutes of the game, but from the highlights package, I saw a couple of efforts from outside of the box from Norman, and that was about it. And sometimes with a manager like Rafa, it can be deceptive, can't it? They're happy to sit in at a 1-0 game state and just lull you in and then pick you off for the second. And I suspect Rafa would be very pleased with the way that played out. Could have been 3 there. It could have been Ben Godfrey, the ex-Norwich player, putting that one in. I think him and Krul were having fun in games they could save by. Krul, there are the numbers, and I suppose the most depressing one for Norwich is 0.78 on the XG. I don't know what that big yellow blob is, whether that's a header from a set play or something. It didn't pop up on my on the Sky Highlights package that I saw, but just not creating a lot. And whilst that number is continually, I'd have to check back the past few games. Whilst that number is continually below 1, you'd worry about Norwich, because if you're not creating chances, you're then relying on the likes of Pookie, the attacking players, Rasica, Sargent, whoever. You're relying on those players to be finishing everything off at a very high standard. So I'm just trying to bring up Norwich in terms of what they are creating. 0.78 on the XG in this one. 0.75 against Watford. 0.64 against Arsenal. The one was Leicester, where they did have the 1.63 and still lost the game. So, is what it is. But Norwich fans are obviously very used to their team creating just bucketfuls of chances at Championship level. But that's a big worry. And the rest of the numbers are fairly tight, aren't they? Look, Norwich on the possession, 11 shots to 10. Okay, 4-2 on target for Everton, fine, 6-4 on the corners. 3-1 on the big chance. Not miles and miles away in this game, but it feels like they're miles and miles away, Norwich, at the moment. And psychology and all of those things and fragility are going to be talked about. Burnley away. They've got to win, haven't they? Norwich's next game, Burnley away. It's just a huge game. That then Brighton at home, and then you got Chelsea, Leeds and Brentford, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle. Look, the fixtures are opening out, but just if they lose to Burnley and it goes 7, then frankly, I just can understand Norwich fans being short of patience with Farke. And he's not giving them any evidence that he can do it at Premier League level. As much as I've been a huge fan of the type of football seen in the Championship, just raising the bar. Farke and Bielsa and Wilder that season, just outstanding teams. But I do get it. I do get Norwich fans saying, bring in a manager that can do it at Premier League level, because this guy is struggling. And he could really, really do with a win against Burnley next time out to just get some credit in the bank. Get your thoughts in. Not too depressing, please, Norwich fans. Everton 2, Norwich 0. Right, let's wrap this thing up then. There's the table. So, 8th position, Aston Villa. Well done. 10 points from 5 as well. Is very, very good form. Back-to-back wins. And that big L was not the worst performance in the world against Chelsea as well. Brentford in 9th. Fantastic stuff, and definitely the people's champions. By the way, I'm filming. It's 11:37 on Sunday, so you can see Spurs, Arsenal, Palace, Southampton, Wolves in that collection below some of our daily parties. Still the place. So look, by the time you watch this, maybe those positions have altered. But I've got to crack on and get on with this stuff here. Thumbs up for Villa, thumbs up for Brentford, thumbs up for Watford as well. They've got the 2 wins on the board. They are above that 1 point per game threshold, and plenty of teams below them in the table. So well done, those 3. And then we've got 2 in the bottom 3. Leeds, you'd have a fair amount of confidence that given the next 4 fixtures coming up, that win is going to come. So, maybe the worry increases if it doesn't. And Norwich, 6 defeats from 6, 0 points on the table. And look, it's 19th against 20th against Burnley. Next, they've got to go there and get something. Hopefully a win for their sake. You'll see that. There you go. Front and centre. Burnley v Norwich. Huge game for those Canaries. And a dearly departed derby. Leeds versus Watford. Will Leeds have that one circled? Will Watford have that one circled? We'll enjoy covering that one either way. Spurs, Villa. Villa will fancy. Just gone to Manchester United and won. They'll fancy that, won't they? We'll see how Spurs do today. West Ham versus Brentford. West Ham are horrible to play against, so good luck to Brentford in that one. But Brentford are the people's champions at the moment. Get your comments in. That is our dearly departed round 6 review. Thank you again to Jay, who's our fan sponsor. And he is ending his sponsorship. So if you do want to get involved, support the channel. If you enjoy what we do here, it'll always be free here on YouTube. And you can go ahead and support me if you want to sponsor this show. Feel free. Go and get involved. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's a big over and out from me. Enjoy your day if you're a Villa fan, if you're a Brentford fan. Probably have a good positive day if you're a Watford fan as well. Maybe some future optimism if you're a Leeds fan. Maybe a little bit of a worry. And yeah, Norwich fans, you have my sympathy. But we will catch up with you all next week on Dearly Departed. Thank you for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.